So today I'm showing you our journey to ESM from how we conducted a pilot to a full-scale response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'll first show you what is our rationale. We have this ESM initiative that talk about how do we carry out our technology evaluation and how do we model our user support. And I'll show you something about some feedback from users, students and faculty, and the challenges, issues, and our future plans. So what's unique at SUSS that we have this new resource, we call it interactive study guide, of which is unique as in I don't find many using this, but we have a study companion that helps students to learn to prepare for their lesson and assignment. It's an ebook format that comes with video lessons, activities, and quizzes. So it works across different OS operating system, iOS, Android, Windows, and Mac. And it's available in EPUB, PDF, and HTML formats. So next, we obviously also use quite extensively the e-textbook for students. So e-textbook, as you know, it's not just simply the replacement of a physical textbook. You can highlight, can bookmark, can actually take notes, you can even share notes with your fellow classmates and maybe ask the teachers through the note-taking feature. So there's some means of collaboration with the e-textbook compared to a physical textbook. So what students like a lot about the e-textbook can do search quickly. That helps in the so-called typical open book exam. So why are we embarking on this exam journey way back in November 2018, about 2 years ago? So we want to find a platform that can actually effectively support student use of all these resources in exam so-called environment. So how do we bring e-resources into the exam hall? So next, our School of Law have this intent to prepare a student to partake in the Part B bar exam with Singapore Institute of Legal Education is their requirement to become a lawyer. So next, the third objective to our online learning unit, they want to administer examination remotely from home. I mean, for those students who are taking full-time, fully online courses, with this total about close to 30 courses in total, of which our students can actually take the courses fully online. So from about the past 2 years, we have school administered total of 3 types of ESM. So before COVID days, we have this on-site portal ESM. And during COVID times, recently, we have started the remote online ESM. So there are 2 types under this option. So one is called time online assignment, of which is an assignment within the LMS. And the other one is about the remote online proctoring, of which is a lockdown with a bit of proctoring in it. So I'll share with you a bit more. The first one first, about the on-site proctor exam, ESM. So we look at quite a number of products out there. Literally are the ones that you can find in the market. So we have a set of criteria that we actually came up with. So more importantly, we want to see whether the software can handle some exception to allow some website or some file types to be able to so-called use in the ESM environment. Again, support multiple operating system. Again, importantly, it's the ease of use. And so how do you detect anomaly? For example, when students turn ahead, whether they share, they talk among themselves. Do they do the exam as a team? And we need to have a strong local customer base and support. And more importantly, the integration with the LMS, of which we're using Canvas. So we look at this total about 8 software. So we actually sing out these 3 as our adoption. So the proto track and muscle was actually done by my fellow colleague from the department. So we total now we look at 8 products. We chose a total of 3 for our adoption. So you notice we don't just single out on one single product. So let me go through quickly the ESM for the pre-COVID days. So we adopted ExamSoft, of which ExamSoft requires you to install software on your notebook, support Windows, Mac, as well iOS, iPad. So from there, this will lock down your computer or tablet or device, and thereafter you send your information over to the ExamSoft server. There are actually 2 modes of operation. The first one is a secure mode, of which they lock down totally the whole computer, disable internet. Students can only navigate within the Exemplify application. So no access to the documents application. So it's very much typically used for closed book exam. So the second one is more for our ESM open book environment setting. So we disable internet, but we allow full access to all the applications and also all the documents on the local hard drive. So this is typically in our open book exam. So this is what it looks like in the typical exam scenario on site. This is pre-COVID days. So we did this way back in 2018. Sorry, let's typo here. So that's how we began way back in 2018 November. We have 2 courses, School Law and School of Business. Followed by the following semester, we have scaled up to 19. Then after that, the year following semester thereafter, another 23 went on board. So you can see it's quite a small scale deployment of our so-called the on-site project ESM. Before we could scale further, the following year we are hit with COVID. So as usual, we provide a lot of support for users in terms of we provided FAQ. We have a support portal actually tell them what is required, user guides. So we have lots of training. In those days, we do face-to-face training. You notice we do the training in the evening because our students are actually part-time, majority part-time students. And we also do training for markers, for the staff, invigilators, and the exam admin department. We also provide the usual video guides for them. So what are the challenges and issues we encountered so far for this on-site exam? So we have to change our exam policy for sure. Number of devices that you support, of which we support only one, we allow one device. Plan B, what happens if the notebook fails? Extra time for technical failure. All this has to be properly documented in the policy. Technical issues like, for example, suddenly OS updates happen on the spot, what should we do? Okay, Wi-Fi connection issue when you try to reconnect to send the answer script to the server. What if computer hang? What are the need for us to provision for some standby computers and the fallback on hard copy exam paper and answer booklet. So we do all this. We also have the so-called the on-site tech support, for which I think is quite intensive. We need about 2% on-site for this purpose. So do we have extra PowerPoint attention plugs at the venue? And physical space constraint. For example, you do open book exam, you bring lots of your notebook computer, plus maybe someone bring your own textbook along. So these are all allowed, but I need more space for the student. So how do the students like it? Whether they like it or not, they actually like it. They actually kind of prefer e-exam compared to pen paper exam. So we did a survey for them, sample size for 300. So 70% say they like e-exam. And why so? Because they find that it's easily can type in answer quickly. And also they find that it's much more easier to write than type. I didn't know this student like to type instead of writing. Yeah. So those who actually are quite fearful of technology will very fearful that it will crash. So the 30% belongs to this lot. Yeah, some of them feel that they think better when they can write all the answers. So the feedback from faculty is actually quite positive. They find it's easier to mark, faster mark by question through this e-format. They find it save a lot of time for them. The scores are tabulated for them as a mark, and there's no heavy bundle to lug around during the marking period. And there's don't worry about loss of answer scripts and gone are the days of illegible handwriting and save retrieves. These are the sort of good points. The not so good points is that you find it hard to mark when answers are long, yeah, and have many points. And sometimes they say they don't know where they are now when they're reading through the system. So minor subtle points about the negative aspect. So majority are positive feedback from the faculty. So what about the COVID days now? So actually we are hit with this suddenly of us. So for us, we did so far 2 rounds of exam already in this COVID situation. Like yourself, I think you all did that as well. So way back in early February, when preparing for this e-exam, we look at what should we do? Should we continue to use e-exam, exam soft, or should we not? So we have total of 35,000 exam takers over 10 days period, okay, on all for about 4 courses. So we have actually 2 modes of operation. TOA is one, I'll explain a bit more what is that, and the remote online proctoring. There are 2 options for us. So we actually entirely dropped the idea of exam soft, because exam soft in those days, they don't have this remote proctoring feature yet. Now they have, but kind of late for us. We wanted that earlier on. So what we did was, we actually go about looking at what do we have right now, what should we do? Yeah. So we look at Canvas, we have turned it in. Okay, let's do, so we have this so-called, want to keep the process simple. we focus on the solution and work for this high-stake exam to make sure it goes on smoothly. So we took the bold decision to say, okay, let's do turning in and let's do Canvas assignment submission, of which student is actually very familiar with. So of which we foresee there won't be much issue. So what we did was we redesigned question to make cheating difficult within the exam hours. So we use Canvas and turn it in. So quite a simple idea. So we sort of change gear. So okay, we also have the usual training, support, FAQ for our students. So we also have the things like the infographic for them, step-by-step guide for them. So we also prepare it for the markers. So we also provide video-based training as well. So in those days, we can't do face-to-face training anymore. So we do video-based training. So for this, we actually have this in place, especially for our, we know the scale is going to be huge. So our call center, we expect unable to cope the load. Imagine campus-wide calling in. So what we did was we actually have this system actually on the cloud called Amazon Connect that actually does the call center system for us. We developed actually a chat function for those students who are hard at hearing. So for this PALM online assignment, actually, this is the outcome now. So there were some students who actually chose to submit very late. As a result, they have to do appeal or their submission didn't go through. So true enough, there are those who tried the workaround system, they plagiarized, they collude among themselves. So those were given 0 marks. We find that it's quite a small percentage now. So let's say we go ahead with some other platform, we are hit with more issues. So there are issues about Wi-Fi issue, computer issues, Wi-Fi cannot work, telco network down, for example. We also have the issue about student can't find the course site, can't find the question paper, can't find the link to submit the assignment, or even students submitting wrong file. Okay. So the last one is about the remote online proctoring, of which we did just for a small group of students. So this one, especially for our fully online course, they want to try out this operation for them because the nature of their course is fully online. So it makes sense for them to try this remote online proctoring. And some more courses were very keen to try. So they went ahead for a total about 400 plus students. So we also did again for this group of students, another cohort. So we think that this one maybe is a better option as compared to this. What these two systems does actually, they sit on the RMS quiz engine, whereas ExamSoft actually is all by themselves on the separate system. Okay, let's see the difference. So we also provide the training for them, infographics for the student as usual. So issues, okay, we find that this product track and also the responders requires RMS engine to work. It's tedious to alter question actually. So especially when we have 2 set of questions per exam. So potentially there'll be some security lapse when your question paper pre-created available in LMS way beforehand. Okay. So what if the LMS is hacked, for example? Okay. So those issues come in. Browser issues, backend issues also kick in. So still not sure whether the exam submission was true. So we have a few cases, I think, of a student assessing the quiz before the lockdown and all. So we are quite thankful we didn't go ahead in a large scale manner with those remote proctoring software. So I think we'll hit with more issues because I believe maybe we need more testing to make sure that it works for us. So in summary, I think we have fulfilled our early intent to conduct open book exam for EXAM enrollment, getting a school student ready for their bar exam, and we identified viable platform remote proctoring for our full-end courses. So we actually adjusted our strategy to steer through the COVID situation to make sure all exam takers sail through the exam, the past 2 exams. There weren't much of issues, even though there were actually quite a handful of them who did plagiarize, who did collude, but those are very small number. So what we need is a system that actually can handle highly scalable end-to-end platform for us for EXAM with more remote proctoring. That's the way forward for us. So future plans. So we like to have this in place, which we are starting to look at this already. We with this journey for the past 2 years, our policies are in place, processes in place. So next step is to conduct a feasibility study to see whether can we achieve a secure end-to-end system to handle all exam processes in one platform. That includes exam question authoring, exam taking operations, on-site remote monitoring, grading and moderation. So that is very much what we want to do in the near future. So we want to run even the continuous assessment in the same platform in the future. So students are used to it right from the start. So when they get the exam, they are used to the process. So issue about technical difficulty will be all resolved by then. So we wish to derive some useful analytics in the future. We can do this for both continuous assessment and exam in the near future. Okay, that's my last slide. So that's my email address. So feel free to contact me with any question.
Thank you very much, Jessy. Is there any question from our delegates?
This is Angela. Can you hear me? Angela,
Yes.
how are you?
Hi, Angela.
This is really good to know about the e-exam. At our university, we have also implemented the e-exam, and then we're still working through the online proctoring, trying to minimize cheating. So at times we have one facilitator trying to proctor online 15 students. So it's very manpower intensive. I wonder whether for you, for your university, like how do you actually get around, trying to minimize the cheating to occur? Because, like students, they really are very good with internets and all that. So we're wondering how that can be done.
Yeah, so we usually have this process in place. I mean, as you have done it as well, we also do review process. For example, the one I talked about online proctoring. So true enough, there were cases whereby the recent one, this case using responders, we did go through an online session Zoom meeting to go through those with very high potential cheating score, the index. So we usually go through one by one to see what they do. Maybe from the video can tell, okay, they actually talk to someone, or they turn the head somewhere, or they actually we can hear some background discussion going on. So we have this in place, but I think it's very much, that's why you point out, it's very manual. Or we go through one by one. So it's very tedious. So which is why until now there's still no good solution yet, but we still got to go through the process. At least they filter out everything to make sure the rest are okay. Maybe every 10% you must do the manual check. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Is there any other questions? We can have one more question. If not, I have the privilege to ask the question, of course.
Thanks, Theresa.
I just wonder, because you're talking about e-assessment, e-examination, remote online, like proctoring, do you think it is also the time for universities to rethink the code of behavior or code of practices, because those regulations or codes are actually probably outdated if we change everything to online or remote assessment?
Yes, I think we need to look at this in a more holistic way, as you rightfully pointed out. So what we did was we modified our exam policy to suit this year exam. So for example, things like how do you handle cheating cases? This has to be in. How do you handle the use of more than one devices? And things like that. So yes, the fundamental principle behind academic integrity is there, but we have to modify the policy now to suit all this technology advancement. So in this case, we did that already, or we have the exam policy modified so to cater for potential issues. What if they cheat, that kind of thing. So, but more important to address what if something failed, what should we do? Yeah, what should kick in? More on process point of view. Policy wise, we enhance a bit. In the past, we talked about pen and paper exam. So now I talk about e-exam. So things should be re-look at the policy wise. Yeah, so in the near future, I hope that we can do all this right from the start, from the way you author the question to the way you get the score graded in one single platform. So right now it's still very piecemeal. We kind of like exam solve a lot, but find that it doesn't work well for everything for us. It's actually, there are some gaps missing. As in exam solve works well, but they don't have the part about getting they're not so flexible to customize the platform. We want to have the question paper from the start to the end. They can't do that for us as of now. I believe we'll get there. We may have to redesign it and maybe build a stock ourselves. But I think, again, that's not very neat. It's always good to have a vendor to help you with that.
Okay, thank you very much, Kaise. Can you